Good evening, all. Let's open with a shift that many everyday crypto users have been waiting for. Plug users now have a simpler way to manage their digital identity with the launch of Plugbook. It's a username system built on chain fusion technology. It replaces the familiar jumble of characters and addresses with something far more straightforward, one username that works across multiple chains. Instead of searching for the correct wallet string on each network, people can type in a Plugbook username, send the transfer, and have the system route it to the right chain automatically. Plugbook already supports Bitcoin, Solana, EVM networks, and the Internet computer, so it's stepping straight into the multi chain environment rather than easing its way in. The value here is in cutting through the small frictions that so often hold people back. That is double checking which chain an address belongs to, scanning for typos, copying and pasting the right format, and hoping the funds don't end up in the wrong place. When everything depends on a single username, the experience feels closer to sending a message than operating a technical interface. This update helps position Plug among a growing group of wallets that prioritize user friendly design. Competition in multi chain tools has sharpened a great deal, and the strongest features at the moment tend to focus on preventing mistakes and simplifying everyday transfers. Plugbook fits neatly into that movement. It uses a naming style people already understand from social apps and older Web2 platforms, making crypto activity feel a touch more familiar. Anyone updating to the latest version of Plug can claim a custom username immediately. Tap the profile emoji, select edit, and the name can be set in a few seconds. Users can also set one of their NFTs as their profile picture, adding another layer of personalization. Over the past year, these small touches like avatars, names, badges have become a standard expectation in crypto native apps, partly because they help establish identity across chains, and partly because people simply like having some expression embedded into their tools. Early reactions suggest Plugbook will attract interest from traders, creators, and everyday users who appreciate a lighter lift when managing assets. There are always questions about long term adoption, like how well the system behaves under heavy demand, how usernames will be managed over time, and how widespread usage may become. But the early mood points to people welcoming anything that reduces the chance of error. If Plugbook continues to grow across the networks it supports, the process of sending crypto could start to feel closer to the ease of a chat app and less like navigating a technical manual. Before moving to the next story, a quick mention for those who support independent reporting and explanation around ICP. Ledger Live is community powered. If you want to back the channel and help keep these breakdowns going, the donation details are below. Every contribution helps us keep building a clearer picture of this fast moving industry. Now, let's move into something quite different but equally relevant to where the sector is heading, that is, privacy. Zeclock network has introduced a system that allows people to make private transactions across any supported blockchain using any token. It's built on the Internet Computer Protocol, which handles the verification and privacy logic directly on chain rather than sending it off to external servers. Supporters see this as a way to give users more control over their financial activity while still fitting into compliance frameworks. The service works around three core pillars. First, each payment includes automatic AML checks. Second, settlement aims to land in roughly 1 second. Third, all transactions are private by default. That last point is at the center of ongoing discussions across digital finance. People often want the benefits of blockchain transparency, but they don't want their personal details, portfolio size, or patterns laid out for anyone to inspect on the open ledger. Zeclock uses a zero knowledge approach where sensitive details can be verified without revealing them. By operating entirely on ICP, the project removes the dependency on traditional backend servers. That distinction matters for those who follow developments in privacy tools. A decentralized backend reduces the attack surface and avoids the need for intermediaries who could influence or observe activity. Critics, however, will be watching closely. Privacy systems often draw attention from regulators, and cross chain setups can introduce questions around jurisdiction, standards, and potential misuse. The platform is already accessible at app.zclock.money, where users can experiment with transfers and observe how the private by default approach behaves. Early testers have commented positively on the ease of moving assets without leaving a public trail. Still, the usual uncertainties remain. Adoption will take time, and reliability under heavier traffic is something only real world usage can determine. Privacy solutions must constantly strike the right balance between protection, transparency, and legal requirements. This project has entered a space where there is enthusiasm for progress, but also cautious observation from those who study the long term stability of privacy driven systems. The timing of this launch is notable. More projects across crypto have been searching for ways to add confidentiality without breaking compatibility with established chains. Zeclock's claim is that it can support private transactions for any asset across any chain that will draw close examination. But the idea also reflects a broader shift in expectations. People want payments to feel fast, safe, and discreet rather than exposed or overly complex. Let's move to ICP exchange activity, where some interesting movement has surfaced in the latest IC terminal data. Coinbase ICP balance has been rising again after a stretch where the platform had almost no tokens available. The chart shows a clear return of supply on the exchange, which usually means traders or custodial users have sent more ICP back to Coinbase accounts. When supply rises on an exchange, analysts often consider whether holders are preparing for more active trading or simply repositioning their funds. Meanwhile, Binance has seen a mild decrease in its ICP balance. It's not a steep drop, but it stands out because it contrasts with Coinbase's upward trend. Movements like these are always interpreted in different ways. Some see a drop on an exchange as a sign that people are withdrawing assets into self custody. Others view it as a shift in exchange preference or a reaction to liquidity conditions. Without direct insight into motives, all anyone can say with certainty is that ICP is circulating differently between these two major trading venues. For now, the redistribution doesn't suggest anything dramatic. It does, however, give a snapshot of where liquidity is sitting at a time when interest in the internet computer remains active. Whether the trend continues will depend on several factors like market conditions, staking patterns, and overall sentiment about the network's upcoming features. Those upcoming features lead directly into the next point, that is, cross chain action executed directly by the internet computer itself. ICP Hub Egypt has confirmed that canisters successfully carried out transactions on Sui last week and processed a live ADA transfer on Cardano's mainnet this week. The striking detail here is that these actions were executed without custodians, external servers, or private keys stored on local hardware. Developers describe this as early evidence that the internet computer can interact with other blockchains directly. The model here works differently from the majority of cross chain systems, which rely on trusted operators, external machines, or hardware signers. The internet computer's ability to generate and hold keys for principals and internet identities at the network level, which gives it a structural advantage in this particular area. Instead of bridging through our company or team, the protocol itself performs the actions. The long term vision is to build an autonomous bridge where smart contracts on each chain coordinate with one another without human involvement. Many projects across the sector make similar claims, so people will be watching closely for how this setup handles reliability, chain specific challenges, and security once transaction volumes increase. For now, it's early, but the results show a promising direction. Users can test the Cardano integration through a temporary link where an ADA address tied to their principal ID can be created. The team cautions against sending more than two ADA during this phase, as everything is still experimental and will eventually be folded into a more complete vault system supporting a wide range of chains. A similar smart contract deployment on Sui is being prepared as well. The developers say the test will be live for a few days before it's shut down. They have asked the community which chain should be added next, listing options such as Solana, Ton, Cosmos, Aptos, Hyperliquid, and Bitcoin. Their stance is simple. If a chain's cryptography doesn't require reinvention, they believe they can integrate it and run it autonomously. Scalability remains a question, as do comparisons with established bridging platforms. Even so, the experiment demonstrates a direction many in the industry are starting to prioritize. That is, reducing intermediaries and seeing how far networks themselves can go in handling cross chain actions without central points of failure. The last story ties back to ICP ecosystem behavior. Recent IC terminal data shows an unusual split among holders. Large holders, often called humpback whales, have increased their ICP balances. At the same time, the amount of ICP sitting on exchanges has risen, and daily volume is reported to be 7 to 10 times higher than usual. Liquidity watchers have taken notice since high activity can indicate preparation for stronger market movements or a rotation of positions. Alongside the whale accumulation, another pattern has appeared among long term participants. Over the past year, an additional 9.45 million ICP has been staked for 8 years, which is the maximum lock period. That level of long commitment is widely viewed as a sign of belief in the network's direction. It also reduces the liquid supply available to the market since locked tokens cannot be accessed for years. This mixture, which means whales increasing their holdings, exchanges seeing higher balances, and long term staking continuing steadily, leaves space for different interpretations. Some argue the buildup on exchanges points to preparation for future trading. Others view the long term stakes as a show of confidence that outweighs the short term movement. No matter the reading, interest in the asset clearly hasn't cooled. The next few months will reveal whether this activity shifts into a broader market change. Sentiment, upcoming features across the ICP ecosystem, and the overall crypto environment will all play a part. For now, though, the data points to a community that is both actively trading and committing deeply for the long run. That wraps up the latest movements across Plug, Zeclock, ICP exchanges, and the growing wave of cross-chain experimentation. If you found the breakdown useful, feel free to support the channel through the details below. It helps keep the research independent and the reporting sharp. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.